This is my 2011 Hyundai ix35 CRDI Premium. Not quite a dream car of mine, but one which I have admired and adored for quite some time. In this video, I'm gonna review it.
I feel good, you look great, so catch me if I fall.
Kicking off with the exterior design and starting here at the front, I really like the design of the front of this car. It's got a great grille which isn't bulbous and overstated like the ix35's brother, i.e. the Tucson. I'm also a huge fan of the chrome strip on the grille and chrome fog lights around, and yes, this car does have front fog lights by the way. Speaking of the light design on this car, it's nothing special, but it's not offensive. It's also a very chunky looking car, which adds to its utilitarian aesthetic. Underneath the bonnet we have a 2-litre turbocharged engine which can drive all four wheels, come back to that in a bit, via a 6-speed manual gearbox. This engine can put out 134 brake horsepower and 320 newton meters of torque. It can also apparently do 0 to 60 in 11.3 seconds, but I'm not going to test that because I like having tyres. Moving down the side profile then, and from this angle it's clear that the ix35 is a proper SUV, a sports utilitarian vehicle. The former is evident from things such as this rear spoiler dealio and the cool rear window design. We've got privacy glass at the rear as well, which adds to a more premium feel. As to do the chrome door handles, these are body colour on entry-level models. Meanwhile, the utilitarian side of things is evident from things such as the, well, we haven't got roof bars, but we've got roof rails. It's also evident from the great ground clearance, 170mm to be precise. It's also evident from these big alloy wheels, 18 inches, coupled with chunky tyres. I actually really like the alloy designs on this car. They look great and they're in such good condition. My only real bugbear with the side of this car is that the fuel filler is on the near side. Both other cars that I've owned and the car that I learned to drive in all had their fuel fillers on the driver's side, which is just that bit more convenient, but that is a personal niggle rather than a professional criticism. Here at the rear, the most obvious thing to start off with is the fact that I've got a tow bar. I am going to have to put something on that so that I don't whack my leg on it, but that could be very handy. Also down here we have rear parking sensors. In terms of the tail light design, well, it's the same story as the front really. They're nothing special, but they're not offensive. One thing that I do really like about the rear light design actually is the fact that it's symmetrical. Some cars you get a reversing light on one side and then a fog light on the other, and that really does my head in. We've also got a heck of a lot of badging. I've never had this many badges on a car before, but it's great. In terms of the boot, well, its capacity is 591 litres, but that can be increased to 1,436 litres by folding down the rear seats, which are a 60-40 split. And although you have to reach in to fold them down, there's no tabs or anything, you don't have to reach that far. But although they are a bit stiff to push down, at least there's retainers to keep the seat belts out of the way, and they do lie flat with this boot floor. The boot floor is also level with the rear bumper here, meaning you have no load lip at either end. Also got a little scuff plate here to protect your paintwork, and actually that is perfectly positioned because there's not a lot of paintwork exposed to get scratched or scuffed here. Underneath the boot floor we have a full, proper spare wheel, but no other official storage solutions for anything else under here. That said, am I still going to stash stuff under here? Yes I am. Other features in the boot include a cubby hole just in here, which is storing my sunglasses. I forgot to put them in there. We've also then got a light and a 12-volt socket on this side. And then there are various tie-down anchor points within the boot as well. Let's hop onto the back seats now, but, car's locked, and I can't be asked to get the key out of my pocket. Well, don't fear, because if we press this little black button just here, the car unlocks itself. Yeah, that's right, got keyless entry on this thing. Anyway, hopping in, and the very first thing to note as we're stepping in is that we've got kick plates on the door sills, and the ones on the front are ix35 branded. This thing's got part leather seats, which are incredibly comfy. Alright. In terms of foot space, well, the footwells are huge. You can also stretch right out underneath the front seats as well. And the central hump really isn't that raised at all, so you can easily fit 3 people's feet back here. As for legroom, well, this driving seat is in my comfortable driving position, and it's actually quite far back, to be fair, and yet I've got masses of legroom. Look at that! Just as well, really, though, because you've got horrible hard plastic on the back of this seat. Don't know why, but anyway, to make up for that, we've got a nice leather pouch down here as well, one on the back of both seats. As for headroom, well, I'm 5'10", 5'11"-ish, and yet I've still got space between my head and the ceiling of the car. So it's only if you're way over 6 foot that you're going to start to struggle. And even then, you've got to bear in mind that this car has a sunroof which eats into headspace. Well, actually, no, that's not true. It's got two sunroofs. It's got one that opens in the front, and then this static one back here. We haven't got one-touch windows in this car, but do they go all the way down? Yes they do. That is completely flat. Very nice. Furthermore, we've also got heated outer rear seats back here. You get plenty of cars with heated front seats, but very few with heated front and rear, especially in a car of this age. In addition, the rear door cards in this car are nice and big as well. You can fit almost any size bottle in there and still have room to put other bits and bobs. Furthermore, we've got a central armrest here with cup holders in. The cup holders are exposed, but at least they're not in the middle, because otherwise you'd be catching your elbow in there all the time. Haven't got through loading with this car, but then I never used it with the Touran, and not many people do use it. My only real bugbear back here is the fact that there's no 12-volt socket and there's no rear vents either for the climate. Here in the front, and once again, we've got part leather seats. There is some wear on this bolster, but then that's common. Seats aren't electrically adjustable, but then again, that means there's less to go wrong, I guess. And they are heated, as I mentioned. Furthermore, we've got a fully leather steering wheel, which has adjustable reach and rake. Also got electrically adjustable door mirrors, which are heated and, best of all, they power fold. Also got hill descent control and lockable all-wheel drive, which I'll explain during the driving segment. This car also comes with automatic lights and automatic wipers, both of which, in my opinion, are gimmicky and unnecessary. I'm also not going to be using the voice commands, although again, cool gimmicky feature to say that your car has. Something that I'm definitely going to be using is the adjustable cruise control and the audio controls on the steering wheel as well. And in all fairness, it's actually really nice to have controls on your steering wheel. It's also really nice to have Bluetooth. Then there's the, no other words, cool dashboard design. Genuinely one of the coolest dashboards I've ever seen. Using this little button down here, we can cycle through the different views. We've got remaining range, average fuel economy, instantaneous fuel economy. We've got our average speed. We've got runtime since the trip was last reset. And we've got 2 mileage trips. It also says welcome when you start it up and goodbye when you turn it off. I mean, how nice is that? In terms of infotainment, well, your media source options are radio, CD, auxiliary and iPod. Can't play music through your phone, unfortunately. You've also got your Bluetooth hands-free phone connectivity through this screen as well. Moving on to climate controls, well, this car has dual climate controls, which means the front passenger can set a different temperature to the driver. Also got automatic climate controls. Our heated seat buttons have then found underneath the climate controls, along with the button to turn the parking sensors off. There is, however, a blanked button next to that last button, but I have no clue what it does because I've never ever seen it actually have a use in any spec of these cars. So if you do know what it would do, please let me know in the comments. In terms of actual cabin design, well, I love it, honestly. Sure, this material up here is hard plastic, but it's got a nice look to it. I also love the air vents in the front here. Such a nice design. I also really like the design in the centre down here. Looks really cool and rugged and utilitarian. Also in this general sort of area, we have not one but two 12-volt sockets, which I suppose makes up for the lack of one in the back. We've also got a USB slot, and our auxiliary port is down there as well. Also got 2 further cup holders in the middle here, as well as the ones in the door bin. We've got a manual handbrake on this car, which I like because it's less to go wrong. And then we've got a central armrest, which doubles up as a cubby. In case you're wondering what that little flap does, well, if the battery's low in your key fob, or the signal isn't transmitting properly to the car, you can just plug your key into there and then start the car using that, because of course there's no actual ignition slot. You've got keyless start. Keeping on the subject of storage, and we've got a lockable glove box, which is nicely dampened, as you can see, and a decent size too. We've even got a sunglasses holder too. Not 3 like the Touran had, but you can't expect to get 3 sunglasses holders in a car, like, come on. The lights for the vanity mirrors, much like the Touran, are actually in the ceiling rather than on the mirror itself, but unlike the Touran, they don't automatically turn on when you open up the mirror cover. You have to actually manually turn them on. How weird is that? Still, one cool feature these vanity mirrors have, which more than makes up for that, side pull-outs, so that you can block sun from coming in around the rear view mirror area as well as directly in front of you. And on that note, let's hit the road. Kicking off the driving segment in and around town. First things first, this thing has got an accelerator which comes out of the floor rather than going down like that. It goes down like that. Just the same sort of accelerator pedal that the Touran had. And I really love that style, so I'm really in love with that. Also really in love with the clutch on this car. It's nice and light, and the biting point is exactly where you would want and expect it to be. And in fact, I've not stalled this car once so far. I'm sure I haven't had it that long, but even on the test drive I didn't stall it. The steering on this thing is also surprisingly light, which, coupled with rear parking sensors, make manoeuvres a doddle. That said, this car does have a small rear window, which, coupled with huge rear pillars, means that rear visibility isn't great. There again, I am used to having nice, big, rectangular windows at the back and flat backs to my cars as well, whereas this thing's obviously got quite a curved tailgate and a tow bar to take into account as well. The door mirrors on this car are huge, which is great, and you sit up really nice and high because of course it's an SUV, which gives you a really good view out. Being nice and high up gives you great ground clearance for speed bumps too. This isn't an overly long car at 4.4 metres, but it does feel quite wide, not gonna lie. It's a nice light and airy car to be in, is this, because of course you've got those 2 sunroofs which let in a lot of natural light. The ix35 has a special kind of turbo technology. It's called a variable geometry turbo. Basically what that means is that at low revs and under low acceleration, the car doesn't give you all the power, which makes it more efficient, but then as soon as you get above 2000 RPM and or you get throttled past a certain point, it puts you on boost and you take off, which when you drive for the first time, more so in and around town, can make this a little bit jumpy, but you do quickly get used to it. However, that turbo technology really comes into its own when you go into higher speeds, such as on the motorway, because when you're just cruising, it's not giving you all the power, so you're being nice and efficient, but then all you have to do is floor it, gives you all that power, nice big bit of boost, brilliant for overtaking. That said, when you're cruising at 70, the revs are at about 2,100, so the engine isn't screaming at you. And that brings me rather nicely onto noise levels, because it's a surprisingly quiet car, this. You've got big wheels, but there's not a lot of road noise. It's got a lot of surface area, but there's not a lot of wind noise either. Furthermore, the suspension is nice and comfy. Honestly, you could soak up so many motorway miles in this thing. I mentioned that this car has cruise control, which is great for being on the motorway. Just set your speed, lift off and just soak up those miles. And of course, if you need to speed up or slow down, you can adjust that on the steering wheel as well. Furthermore, having those huge door mirrors gives you great visibility on the sides. So when you're changing lane, you can really see the traffic and all your blind spots. Your high up driving position gives you a great view of the road ahead. Well, that soft off-roadery suspension is great at dealing with bumps and potholes. The all-wheel drive system is great on poor surfaces, and it works by running in front-wheel drive for the majority of the time, which of course is more economic. But then, if you lose traction, it can send some power to the rear wheels to help you regain traction. Furthermore, if you are actually going off-road, then you can lock it in all-wheel drive, and that way the car gives you a 50-50 power split between the front and rear axle. The only criticism I had for this car on country roads is that the light steering makes it a bit vague, but actually, now that I'm driving it on country roads, it doesn't feel that vague at all. It feels precise enough, definitely. The only other thing I have to mention, and this is very niche, I love the windscreen washers on this car. You see, the washers on the Ignis sprayed too high, and then the washers on the Touran sprayed too low, and they didn't spray out enough either. Whereas the washers on this car legit cover the entire windscreen. It's great, I love it. Oh, would you look at that? Another ix35. Ah yes, here we go then. Coming to fuel up. Being rush hour on a Friday, it's absolutely chock-a-block here. But yeah, thankfully I have remembered that my fuel filler is on the opposite side to what I'm used to. We'll have to see how much this costs. Currently I've got 90 miles of range and about 1/8 of a tank left. By the way, this car's fuel tank has a capacity of 58 litres.
A few moments later.
So the answer is £73.73, which has given me a range of just under 500 miles, which is a little bit lower than I'd expect, but then again I have been doing a lot of city driving, and so on a decent cruise, and once I've got more used to driving the car as well, should become more efficient, should get over 500 miles of range out of this dead easy. Speaking of range, the range trip computer on this car actually counts in whole miles rather than rounding to fives like the Touran did. Fun fact for you. So, conclusion time. Well, this is a practical car thanks to its big boot and its tow bar. It's a very capable car thanks to its ground clearance and its all-wheel drive system. It's well spec'd with all-round heated seats, your sunroofs, the keyless go, and of course all the other tech. And it's very easy to drive thanks to its light steering, its perfect clutch, and your high up driving position. Not to mention, of course, how comfy this car is. Anyway, thanks for watching this review. Do take care, wonderful people. Until the next video, bye for now.